Welcome, everybody, to the Luxury Presence panel. My name is Chris Linsell. I'm the Director of Content here at Luxury Presence, and I gotta say, I am pretty darn excited to be here with you today. Excited for three reasons. Number one, I get to host a conversation with two of the real estate industry's most successful, interesting, provocative, and opinionated voices, none other than the amazing Jade Mills and Fran Katzen. Reason number two, because it is an exciting time to be in real estate, and it is more than ever. It is a time where we have opportunities to connect with each other in incredible ways, learn from each other, understand the blurriness between the line of colleague and competitor. Today is the day we come together, we collaborate, we learn from each other, and we grow. And number three, Luxury Presence has got some amazing tools and opportunities to help you scale your business when you're ready. And we're going to be able to offer a way to supplement this conversation with some Luxury Presence strategies to go along with your success and your scale. So welcome. It's going to be a great day. Like I said, my name is Chris Linsell, Director of Content here at Luxury Presence. I'm going to be moderating a discussion between two amazing women, Miss Jade Mills and Miss Fran Katzen. Jade, welcome to the Luxury Presence panel. Would you mind introducing yourself, giving us a 30-second intro on who you are and what you do? Oh, just a second. Sorry, Jade. I think we got you muted. Let me see if we can unmute you here. There you are.
Okay. So thank you so much, Chris. My name is Jade Mills. I work for Coldwell Banker in Beverly Hills, and I've been doing this for over 33 years, and I absolutely love what I do.
Amazing. We're so glad to have you here. And
Thank you for
join
having me.
and joining you, we've got Fran Katzen. Fran, welcome. Would you mind introducing yourself, please?
Hi, Chris. So nice to be here. My name is Frances Katzen. I work out of New York. I'm with Douglas Elliman, and we also serve in Brooklyn, Long Island. Yeah, we do it all every day, in
Incredible.
every way.
Unbelievable. Now, these two women have introduced themselves, but are maybe underselling themselves a little bit. Jade, I don't know if you've mentioned, but you happen to be the number one Coldwell Banker agent worldwide. Is that right?
Well, yeah, I have been, but I now share that with Carrie Wells
Gotcha.
in Aspen, and she's amazing. We're very, very good friends. And when you say competitors, I think there's enough business for everyone, Chris. So
Mhm.
we don't feel competitive. We feel like we support each other and wish each other the best always.
Incredible. I'm so glad to hear this because we've got some information we want to share. Let me set the scene a little bit for everybody here. We're going to walk through a discussion about what it takes to really win in luxury real estate from two of the most successful folks doing it. We're going to cover topics like breaking into higher price points, delivering client experience requisite to this level of operation, marketing high-end homes. We're going to cover the gambit here. And I expect there's going to be folks here that are going to have questions about what we're talking about. That's fantastic. Please use the Q&A function here on Zoom. We will get those questions and we'll get as many of those answered as we possibly can. Feel free to interact with each other in the chat. We're excited to have you here. There are, let's see here, almost 1,000 people that are a part of this event right now. So there's going to be a lot of chat flying back and forth. Feel free to make connections there. And then if you have questions, again, use that Q&A function. And if you submitted a question when you registered for the event, we'll do our best to get to whatever we can during the Q&A portion of this event. There's one other face on the screen here. I want to introduce Laura McDonald from Luxury Presence. Laura, would you mind saying hi to folks?
Hi, everyone. My name is Laura McDonald. I work here on the sales team at Luxury Presence. I've been here for over 3 years. I am from New York originally, lived in LA for 8 years, and now I live up in North Lake Tahoe. So I can't wait to meet with you guys. If you guys are interested, I'll be sharing a QR code at the end when I chat a little bit about Luxury Presence. If you guys want to meet with me, I'm super excited to meet you, and thanks so much for having me.
So glad to have you. Let's bust right into it. Um, I want to start by talking about what it takes not just to win, but to get into luxury real estate. Let's talk about how we make that transition. Francis, can you walk us through that Midtown West condo where you literally moved your own furniture into it in order to get you started in the multi-million dollar price point? What gave you the confidence that you needed to ask for that first listing? I think it was just 30 days. Is that right?
Yeah, it's amazing what fear will make you do. I mean, I think I didn't have a soft landing, and I think that plus drive, it's the same methodology from what I was doing before to what I was doing now, which is you don't give up. You just don't give up. You don't have the luxury to give up. You can only create what you close, and therefore it's incumbent upon you to kind of rally and find your muscle and do it. And I think people like people who are hungry. It makes them feel like they're going to have someone working on their behalf a little bit more. And I think that goes a long way. And people would sort of tap me on the head and make jokes. But I think ultimately that was what people liked.
Yeah, I think you're right. It seems like there were some calculated risks that you had to take early on in order to realize at least that the ability to get into the door at this price point. Is risk kind of a part of the game here when you want to break into luxury?
I think we all know that you only eat what you kill is the term. So it's, when people have 6 months to do something and the broker doesn't fulfill, and then the seller re-engages the same broker, you're like, listen, you gave them 6 months. I think we know it's time's up. So I think there's always risk. You have a finite amount of time. You have to deliver, you have to manage, and you have to make sure things stick. That is the skill of the agent, is to procure and communicate effectively and make sure everything lines up.
Jade, what do you think about that? You've been listing luxury property in the Los Angeles area and beyond, including listings north of 10, 20, 30, and I mean, the sky is the limit here. Is there a common thread in terms of what it took for you to start establishing yourself at that price point in the Los Angeles market, similar to the way that Fran is describing it?
I agree with Fran. Never give up. And I think that your clients want to feel, the people that you're working with want to feel like they are the most important people in your life. You have to make them feel like you are going to live and breathe their listing or what they want to buy. And it is so important that they have your full attention and that you call those people back within 30 minutes. You can't be too busy. You can never say to anybody, oh, I'll call you back, but I have 4 other calls first. They have to feel the most important. And I think that is the key to being successful. Of course, they all want to hear, I've done this and I've done that. Everybody still says to me, oh my God, you sold the Spelling Manor or you sold the Playboy Mansion. That is like such a tiny bit of what I have done and what I feel good about. I feel good about giving my clients amazing service. And I think Fran just said that too. That's what we have to do to be successful.
Hmm. So if the two of you parachuted into a totally new luxury market, knowing what you know now and having the success that you've had, but if you were dropped into a luxury market where you have no exposure and no experience, what's the first step that you would take to gain traction?
What a
Fran,
great
any thoughts
question.
on that?
What a great question. Really, I think that's such a great way to help people who are trying to gauge how to get there. Um, you fake it till you make it. You act as if you have the marketing budget of, Madonna, and you make yourself, you emulate and watch the big boys to learn and navigate how they are responding to questions. You Google and listen to how they respond to information, and you learn your craft. You learn about what's going on in the market. You look at the weekly reports that come in that tell you what's not working. Co-ops are getting killed. Co-ops are up. New development is on the rise. Luxury is anything over 4 million. What's happening in the sub-market below 2? Know your market so that when you are asked to price, you can give specific examples of what's happening in that segment, because now you're an advisor. You're no longer the new guy hunting for the business. You're informed, and you act and trust that what you have to say is accurate because you've cross-checked it.
Mhm.
And then you take it on and you hear what people are asking, and you come forward with a methodology that will work for them, which is, I will show up. I will be the one handling this. It's the whole, you come forward in an informed way. And I think that's how you offset newbie. All the time you're pitching against people who, at the beginning when I started, who had 47 listings and I had nothing. And of course they're like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to give it to you. And you're like, but hang on a second. He's not showing it. The show is showing it, and I'm going to be your gal, and I'm going to work for you, Mr. Seller. Give me a chance. Give me 30 days. And that's the hunger that goes, okay, she's got the big boys behind her, meaning a big firm. Let's see what she's got.
How about you, Jade? If you were dropped into a new market with no exposure, what's your first step? How are you launching the next phase of that luxury career?
I agree with Fran. It's all about knowledge, and it's all about knowing your product, their house. You can go someplace and say, "Oh my gosh, I was here 10 years ago," or I know who lived here 10 years ago. If you're dropped into someplace, I guess you really don't know that somebody has sold it, but you research, and you know everything about their property. In the beginning, I thought that it was very important for me to take someone that was very knowledgeable and very successful with me. So I would say probably the first 5 listings I had, I took someone with me, and they were the professional. I was the new person in town. I had I had great success with my children's friends' parents. They gave me a chance, but they would not give me that chance without taking someone else with me. So I think it's very important in the beginning. It's better to have 50% of something than 100% of nothing. So I think it's very, very important that you use other people's knowledge, other people's success, and you only need 2 or 3 of those, and people trust you. And I think trust and confidence. You have to go into any situation with total confidence. They need to know that you feel you can sell their house. You are going to give them all of your time, and there's never a time when you personally will not show their house. We have the same thing that Fran has in New York. We have people who take the listing and then never go back. That is not the way I work. I don't have a team. My children work with me, but I never will take a listing and then send someone and never show it. That is very bad form. And that is how people get all of their referral business, by being there, by showing up, and
Correct.
and performance.
I love that you're taking a twist on Fran's fake it till you make it and turning it into like learn it until you earn it sort of scenario here.
That,
So
Chris.
whoever's listening, that you can have that one for free. Put that on all your Instagram posts. Just tag luxury presence, please.
Can I just add one thing to
Yeah.
that? I think part of how trust is accrued, especially when you're starting out and you don't have a lot to back it up necessarily, accuracy. You have to be straight about it. I think people can smell BS a mile away, and when they feel like you're coming from a place of truth, they get it, and you enroll them in that way.
Mm.
Agree.
Fran, let's dig in a little deeper there. You've told me that your honesty can be sometimes disarming to folks, especially at a luxury price point where people are accustomed to hearing what makes them happy, and to people telling them kind of what they want to hear. How important is this? And maybe double click on this a little bit. How do you use that sort of radical honesty or disarming honesty to power the success in your luxury business?
Wow. Well, I believe in giving people choice, and I think you take away their choice when you're not straight. And I think New York is such a hard-hitting town. There's not a lot of time for pleasantries, not really. They don't want to talk about the weather. They want to know what you're going to do for me and how you're going to do it and what's the number. So I would say I say what I think, not what they want to hear. I've had to master and learn how to be a chameleon in terms of learning when to say it and when not to say it. And I think it's really scary for newer agents because I, like you, Jade, I couldn't agree with you more about 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. And so there's this dichotomy, like this dilemma for new agents. Do I just take the overpriced listing just because I have it? And part of me is like, yes. And then you basically practice your skills on how to get them there and why and how to educate the seller. It's a process for you and it's a process for them. It's not always what you want to be doing, but if you're starting out, there is this need to want to get your feet wet a little bit. But I definitely think being straight allows them to have agency in it. And I think that's when trust is formed, because I'm saying something they may not, they're in love with their own real estate. You don't want to insult them, but you ask them questions. May I ask why you think it hasn't sold? Have you received any offers? What held you back? And why do you think it hasn't sold? You'll learn a lot by someone in that moment.
Jade, I'd love your perspective on this. You run hundreds of millions of dollars in active listings every year, but clients of yours still describe you as having that concierge level touch and involvement, not just in the property, but in your interaction with them. Talk to me a little bit about how you approach those interactions. How do you deal with those needs or those moments where we need the honesty that Fran is referring to? I'd love to hear your take there.
Well, I've lost many listings lately because we have a couple of young guys who will go on a listing. They'll give the sellers a very high price. And I will say to them, listen, I think that you should try this. It's never going to sell. Something that is probably $12 million and they're telling them 20. And so I'll say, I think you should go ahead and try this. And I'm available. And I will usually say, which I probably shouldn't, I will usually say, I take listings for 1 year. If I need to, I reduce that to 6 months. I would never take anything less than 6 months. But I will say to them, why don't you try this person for 3 months? And if it's not sold in 3 months, call me. But it is, I just had someone and I gave them a price. They listed it for 3 million more than I gave them. And they said, we know that you can do anything. You are the magician. You can sell. And I said to them, I can't get you $3 million more than your house is worth. They would not take no for an answer. And this is the first time I've really run into this where I have said to them, I cannot get you that number. And they've said, we have all the faith in the world in you. We want you to try it. What do you say to that? I mean, I was really stumped with that. But I took the listing. I got a $10 million offer, and they said, we're not doing that. We want full price. At
Mm.
some point, I think I will have to say, I can't do this for you, and you're going to have to go elsewhere, because we know as agents, it's very expensive to market something. And, our best marketing is actually getting, and in fact, we talked about this, when I get a listing, the first place I put that listing is with Luxury Presence, because I think we all have this amazing group of people that we trust, and we send this out. And very often, my first showing will be someone through Luxury Presence that has said to me, I may have someone for that, or I may be able to refer you something, but it's still it's still the price. It has to be priced reasonably. I'll take
Mhm.
something slightly over, but we're not magicians, and we can't achieve something that no one else can.
Mhm.
So it's like, I agree with Fran. We need to be honest. If they choose to list it a little bit higher, there's really nothing we can do.
Yeah,
You can't manufacture a market.
that's
No.
the truth. Let's turn for a moment to the service that you are providing your luxury clients. And I want to give each of you a chance to name something that is a part of your servicing of your clients, luxury or otherwise, that you think goes missed by many agents. What are some mistakes that real estate professionals make when it comes to servicing their clients? And I want to preface this by saying no easy answers here. It can't just be, oh, I return phone calls more quickly, or I show up on time to the open house. No table stakes here. Give us the secrets that somebody might not know about providing the level of service that now your clients expect from you. Fran, any thoughts on that?
I think it's a holistic approach for me. It's when I sit down with them and they say to me, well, who's really going to show it? Because, I mean, come on. And it's, a $2 million apartment. And I'll say, well, hang on a second. I have no ego about it. I do it all. And the reason I do it all is this is my bread and butter. Do not be fooled by all the glossy nonsense. The reality is this is my day-to-day business. And what you can expect from me is I will be there to do the photo shoot. I will be the one doing the second showing. I will be the one negotiating it. But what you can expect is that every single time we have a showing, you will get in real time a full digest of what happened, and then we will forward you the feedback. Now, it's amazing how little that happens on a daily basis. The lack of communication is what creates the distance and distrust. You need to touch with your clients all the time. Hi, just wanted to let you know, I just went past the apartment, everything. It's that constant presence that makes them feel completely looked after. And I think it's also spending money on the property to market outside the box. We bring in people from Chicago to do drone footage. We spend money to do brochures. We send it out to the rental buildings that are coming up for expiration on a lease that are looking to own equity. We time it with when bonus and vesting schedules come out. We pitch to editorial. It's not paid advertising, but if we can show that the studios and the one bedrooms are getting placed into the New York Times as a focus property, that's a big deal for an owner. And that all comes as part of the service. There's a platform. And I think that's when an owner says, I'm driving in the Maybach or the Porsche. I feel good. I feel like this is going to happen now.
Mm.
We're in all the portals. She's on top of it. She's like an octopus. She's kind of managing all parts of it. And there's only one other person that will show with me. It's not the key lackey. It's one other veteran agent. And the two of us are in communication with that client. That's
Mm.
it.
How about you, Jade? What is the secret to your five-star client experience?
Communication is definitely very, very important. And I agree with all of that with Fran. But I think we need to really zero in on the person. If you see something in the news that you know they're interested in, take 5 minutes and send them an email and say, I know that you're very interested in this subject, whether that is politics or golf or something that you're not even interested in. Send them something. I find books that I love. I will order 10 books and send those books to people that I know might be interested in that subject. do something that nobody else does that's very special for them personally. And I think this is something where people, it makes them feel like you're thinking about them all the time. It's not just about selling their property, although you have to do all those things that Fran just mentioned, but do something that is personally very, very important to them, and they'll want you. They'll want to keep you.
Hmm.
I just want to go on record. I'm lousy at that because I feel like I'm trying to be, I don't know, it's my own comfort zone of not getting too close to the client. That's me. But Jade, I totally respect what you're saying. I should be doing that. I keep it like I do beautiful gifts at closing and I touch base on a text, but I'm lousy about like, I always feel awkward going too far, you know? The New Yorkers are
Hmm.
like in
And
and out.
I'm very uncomfortable with inviting people out.
Me too.
I have 4 children and my grandchildren and my husband who I love spending time with. So I'm not good at that. So I mean, we all have our things that we're comfortable with. I I know people that are out every single night with
Agreed.
clients. I am on the Beverly Hills Chamber of Commerce. My past husband died of cancer, so we're on the board of governors. I get a lot of clients from those two things, not because I was planning on getting clients that way, but it has just happened. And I don't go to a lot of events. I do go to those events, but I don't go out all the time and it's not fun for me. So this is sort of my way of keeping in touch.
Mm. Okay, it's time to pivot a little bit, and I want some juicy details. Fran, it is, I think I'm understating it to say that your listing videos, the video that you create for your business is cinematic. It is, there's Hollywood. I'm sure, are you sure you're not in LA? Because it feels like Hollywood is making your video content. But you've also told me that you, and I'm quoting here, hate video with a vengeance. So we got to know a little bit more about this. You're marketing high-end property with unbelievable content, but it doesn't seem like it's your first love. How do you bring together what the necessary ingredients to make your marketing and video content so compelling at a luxury level?
You always ask really good questions. Jeez. I think there has to be chemistry with the people that you work with. I happened to luck out with someone who was flown in. I'm an ambassador of a $1.6 billion project around the corner here, and they were putting together reels. And he walked in, and I had no idea how this was going to turn out. And we did this video, and it went viral. And the developers team was like, "This is really good." And I remember him, and I called him, and I said, "Look, everyone was saying you have to be on camera," and I was like, I just think it's so dopey. I feel really disingenuine. I feel contrived. I'm not 20. I just felt dumb, really dumb. And so he came in to play, and I said, "Look, if we're going to do this, can we make it less about me and more cool and more directional and more quick and sharp?" And I don't want to sit there and talk about the lacquered cabinetry. I couldn't keep a stuff. Can we do something a little bit more off off and quirky? And I'm always trying to think outside the box because everybody's replicating everything all the time. So I was like pushing, and it worked. And it's amazing. People come up and say, I was at the Real Deal, and they're like, I just love those. And you talk on it, and it's really him. It has nothing to do with me. I'm like, pull that camera back to Canada, honey. But he's just great on how he splices it and throws boys to men and dated music, and it's cool. I like it. So
It's amazing, and it genuinely does feel like you are telling stories that are bigger than yourself. And you're not the only one that creates these sorts of narratives. Jade, you've represented, as you mentioned, estates like the Playboy Mansion. There's got to be a narrative that comes along with these properties. It's more than just a listing description and photographs. I'd love to know if you have any insight on how you create a narrative and media around properties that already have a global name recognition? Are you trying to create something new, or are you leaning into what people already know about these properties?
Well, we work with Coldwell Bankers advertising team and Marisa, who's in Texas actually. We work with them, as Fran was saying. We love to do things with Wall Street Journal or Forbes, or we love to do those things. It's not paid advertising. It's advertising where people feel like they're able to see these properties and we're not pushing at pushing them at them. It's more like this is information, this is editorial, and if you want more information about this, call Jade Mills. But I think that those properties get a lot of press. We are able to do very little as far as advertising and still get lots and lots of press. I do feel I have to now go on and look at Fran's videos. I do feel we get a lot from, I do something called 30 Seconds with Jade on Instagram that my son does with me. And he'll interview me. We'll do 5 fun facts, 5 interesting facts, something like that. But we have sold a lot of properties from Instagram. So when people are talking about, a lot of sellers say, I want print, I want I want this publication or that publication. We do that. We do that for them. Architectural Digest is a big one that we get asked for, but we will do that, but that isn't really to sell their properties, and we let them know that. The things that we love to do are the things that are not paid advertising that look like we're pushing it out there. More to say, oh my gosh, look at this property. This is for sale and this is who owns it, or this is who lived here, or whatever that is. But that is what we really find matters.
So going off of that, there are lots of folks in the luxury space who are now identifying, after watching leaders like you, that property marketing isn't just about talking about the property itself. It's about creating content and brand recognition for you, for the people who are selling it, developing you as an expert and a trusted advocate and authority in this space. Fran, you've got a history in performance art. You came to real estate from the world of professional dance, where your personal brand had a lot to do with your success, your ability to execute on these things. How do you feel like your personal brand and the development of the brand for your business, how do you think that lends to the success of things like property marketing? Are the two interconnected?
I think so. I tend to be a bit of a, you know, perfectionist. I try to make everything just so. And I think if I'm understanding how you meld the discipline of being a dancer and the consistency of not stopping until it's right, or making sure you show up on a Sunday and doing it with the same gusto as you would the first time you have the open house, and making sure that you really follow up and try to cultivate movement, irrespective of whether or not you think it's overpriced or not. There's a discipline to selling, and there is a level of methodology to that. And I think, I had one broker on my team once say to me, why aren't we just doing it by appointment? And I looked at him. I was like, wait, what? I said, this is your office for Sunday. This becomes your forum with which to convert business. You meet people in the lobby, you connect with the doorman who could be your ears and eyes. You are basically on, and you are using this space to basically create future business, current business, and showcasing your wares. And I think once you change that, I think it all comes. But I think for me, I just didn't have the option of failure. I had nothing to fall back on. So the discipline of dancing and perfecting your craft and not giving up, I think goes right hand in hand into this really competitive landscape of differentiating yourself, applying it, consistently seeing through, not giving up, not questioning it, and selling it, you know?
Mm. Yeah. Jade, what about you? I see you on the cover of the LA Business Journal or on CNBC. How do those appearances lend to the success of the properties that you're marketing?
Well, I think it's great. I mean, my husband believes in name recognition. You will see me on the back of the playbill, on practically everything in Los Angeles because he believes in name recognition. So those things are big. But I do believe that discipline and consistency is what makes a person successful. And when you take a listing, you just don't put it into the MLS. You take out your contact list or your database and you call every single person that you think could be interested in that property or have someone, a friend, a relative interested in that property. And I will actually say to someone, oh, I just listed something in the Beverly Hills Flats. You must have a friend or a family member that you want to live close by. Or I just listed this property and I sold a tech person this house. I will say you must have a friend that you want in LA, that lives in Silicon Valley, that lives in New York or lives in you must have someone, but you have to work it. It is discipline, it's consistency, and it's knowing that I had no choice either. I started in this business and it didn't have another business. So it was like, I have to feed my children. I have to do this when
There
my
you go.
husband passed away. So there was no second choice. I had to do this and I had to figure it out.
Mm. Let's turn our focus just a little bit to uh the folks who are listening today who are either new to the business and wanting to scale quickly, or folks who have been working in real estate for a while and know that it's time to take the next step. Fran, we'll start with you. If you're hiring somebody to join your team who's got a specific desire to work in the luxury space, what are some of the things that you're looking for in terms of their professional traits that identify this person's going to be successful? What can our audience emulate in terms of their own business and behavior to position themselves for success?
They first have to have a business plan. How can you make money unless you understand how much you need to be closing based on the average price? Now, if you've never done business in real estate, it's kind of hard to quantify, but you take a guess. Are the trades going to be between 3 to 500,000 or 5 to 850,000 or up to $1,500,000? You back into the average commission rate of 2.5%, whatever your city or region is. And then you analyze what your goal number is and you back into how many units. So that means you've got to be closing on average 1.5 to 2 or 3 leads a month. So you have to have some level of tracking, I think. And then the question is, what are you willing to do to have it? Right. So it's the idea of, I want to be the number 2 broker. Great. Well, what are you willing to do to have it? Are you willing to be uncomfortable and make cold calls? Do you know how to do cold calls? Are you willing to do the work and actually dig up information and do the homework to understand what there's so much to it. And I think when people realize that it's not just turning a key and making 6%, I think that's when you start weeding out who's really committed and the people that have no issue doing the work. It's
Mm,
not just, like you see on a TV show, it's work.
yeah. Yeah. How about you, Jade? What are you looking for in terms of a new agent who's ready to join the Jade Mills team? What kind of traits are identifying those folks as potentially successful?
Well, I don't have a team, but I have a lot of people that say, can I talk to you? Can you
Mm,
help me get started? Whatever. I always say to them, this is about dedication. You have to dedicate yourself to this business. If you are in the market and there's somebody standing behind you, you've got to start a conversation. I sell real estate. If you're at the pharmacy and there are people there and you hear them talking, if you're friendly and kind, I sell real estate. What do? You have to live your craft. You have to really, I've never had a business plan because my business plan was just always do the most you can, the best you can. Don't look back, don't look down, move forward. I remember someone saying to me very early on, it's very, very difficult to go all day worried about making whatever those calls are. If they're calls you just don't want to make, if they're cold calls, if it's door knocking, whatever it is that you're doing when you're first getting started, do it first. Do it
Mm.
first thing in the morning. You feel so good all day to know that you've done that and that it's out of the way. I believe in the beginning that you should sit in open house every single Sunday. I sold my first house, was
Me
sitting in
too.
open house.
Yeah.
I think it's so important. And people will say, oh, well, I'm not going to do that. Or if somebody comes in and says, what do I have to do? That's a very bad sign.
Mm.
I mean, I remember having an intern during a summer, and Stephanie, who has been with me for 21 years, is in my as and is my right hand, said to me, oh my God, this guy Michael, he came in and started cleaning our storage room. He's amazing. He is now one of the most successful agents in Beverly Hills, and he's dynamite. I mean, he's got every great trait, including, he was a great student and a great athlete. I think that does make a big difference. It dedication and always knowing to practice, whether
Mm.
it's study for school, practice at your craft, whether it's baseball, football, whatever. That makes you, I think, a better agent. You
Mm.
really have to be dedicated.
Mm. Speaking of dedication, we're coming up on the sunset of this conversation. I wish we could go all day, but I want to turn for a few minutes to how to help position the folks who are attending this event to take that dedication to their business to the next level. Um, if you want to have a place where the folks that you meet at open houses that are in line with you at the supermarket, if you want to have a place that you can send folks where they can learn more about what they're doing, you got to have a website and a digital ecosystem that is going to give you all of the opportunity that you need to be successful. And that's what Luxury Presence is all about. And I want to invite Laura to join the conversation for a couple of minutes to share a little bit about what Luxury Presence is doing to help power the success of businesses like, excuse me, to help power the success and be a partner to businesses like Jade and Franz. Laura, welcome.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you so many of you all for being here, Jade and Fran. It's so amazing to hear your stories and what you've done. Jade, I've heard you tell the story a few times of the very first listing you got from sitting in the office at Coldwell Banker when you were first starting out, and how just so deeply spending your time learning the market and understanding things, so that that very first appointment that you showed up on, you were just ready to help a multi-million-dollar person with their listing or showing them a house. I don't remember exactly what the details were. And Fran, I've heard the absolute best things about you from our team. So thank you guys both so much for taking the time to speak to everyone today. I know people are huge fans of yours. So let's talk about Luxury Presence. Take a few moments. I did drop the calendar link into the chat a few times if you guys are potentially interested in learning more about our business and what we do. So if you guys don't know, Jade Mills is our very first client at Luxury Presence. Our CEO convinced her to build a website, and she loved it so much, she decided, I'm going to invest in this tall German man and start building websites for me and my friends and see how it goes. And now flash forward 9 years, our company Luxury Presence, we have over 15,000 active clients across US and Canada. And in case you don't know, we are first and foremost a website company. Chris, can you just give me access to share my screen? Okay, I think you did. And I think when we're talking about, a lot of you in the chat and in the questions are asking, how do I get into luxury, right? How do I, in whatever market that I'm in, how do I decide one day that I'm a luxury agent, right? And I think that there's a lot of things that Jade and Fran talked about today. One of them, fake it till you make it, right? That's a Fran line. Jade, that treating every single client that it gets the most important thing, right? So there's a piece of things where you have to decide as an agent, I'm going to sell in a certain price point. And in order to do that, you have to do the research, you have to know the market, you have to understand, but you also have to present a brand to your clients and outwardly that you are going to be that person, right? And I don't want to show a bad example, so we'll just show a good example, which is what happens when you look up Jade Mills, right? Do we have full control over the narrative of what people are seeing when they look me up online? Yes. I'll use my name as an example since I'm not a real estate agent, but if I were to type something like Laura McDonald Realtor, there are Laura McDonalds in the world that are real estate agents, and there's realtor.com pages, there's Zillow pages. When you Google Jade, she has full control over Google, right? And then we open her website, and this is what's showing. I have sold $9 billion in my career, right? Now, obviously, we have agents that are not Jade Mills or not Jade Mills yet. And so we still have the ability when we create a brand presence online to tell whatever story we want, right? If we're selling in a lower end market, how can we present a really authentic look at the highest price point, right? How can we elevate the image of a brand while still staying super authentic? But we still need to tell the story first. So having a really beautiful, solid brand story online that tells the story of who you are in an authentic way is the best place to start. So building a website that tells the story that we want to tell. We want to have control over your Google presence. You guys, of course, have to look at social media and how you're connecting with your past clients and your sphere. But I think the big thing about what we do here at Luxury Presence is focusing on authenticity, right? And Jade and Fran have said too, what are the things that you're good at? If you're the kind of person who loves talking to people and you got into real estate because you love building connections, sit open houses. If you got into this business because you love the visuals of real estate and video and photos, then spend your energy building videos on YouTube, right? Or on Instagram. But you are going to get completely burnt out in this industry if you try to do everything perfectly. So if there are pieces that you could hand off to a company like ours to build your online presence, to start doing marketing online and allow you to have more time to do those things that you're good at, meeting people in person, talking to people, sitting on the board of cancer research and all of that, that's going to be the best way for you to spend your time. So just as a quick refresher, our company, we work with agents, teams, brokerages to help build out their online presence through beautiful web design, building out your Google presence, running ads. We do have a new beautiful app called Presence Copilot as well, where you can work with your clients directly in a very beautiful mobile friendly way. And in all of this, I just want to remind you guys too, if you guys are current clients of ours and you're interested in upgrading or learning more about Copilot or adding lead generation services, you can scan this QR code and you will get a free waived setup on the white label app, which is usually $5,000. And then if you are not a client of ours yet and interested in learning about our website and marketing services, if you scan this QR code, you will get a waived pro website setup fee. So I'll leave this up for a moment. And I know that there are tons of chats and questions coming in, but hopefully that's a little bit of a good start to what we do here at Luxury.
Laura, can I say one thing?
Please.
I just want to say I never used to take an iPad on a listing appointment until I started with Luxury Presence. Now, and I have been there since the beginning, I can't even tell you the amount of listings that I get by showing my Luxury Presence website. And I do think it is so beautiful and it is so elegant. And I've seen so many websites that are not. And people will say to me, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Okay, where do I sign up? I mean, it is a great tool. I probably shouldn't be saying that because this isn't probably why we have it, but it is a great tool to get a listing. And early on, I had no Google presence. And Malti said to me, there's all these different packages, and I can't tell you anything about them. I really don't know, but there was one where they enhance your Google vision or whatever it's called. And now when you Google me, I come up like 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, in the top few. I was nowhere when I first started with Luxury Presence. This is an amazing. People will say, "I Googled you, and that's why I'm calling you."
Hmm.
So there are so many advantages. I love Luxury Presence. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Jade, so much. And every one of you that have been dropping your websites in the chat, I've been saving them. They look amazing. So thank you guys for sharing. And I just want to say one thing more speaking to that is a lot of people that are newer agents, they come in and they say, how do I compete with a Jade Mills? And as Jade said in the beginning, it's not about competing, right? There's enough business out there for everyone, but in order for you to show up to a listing appointment and make a really good impression, you need to show that you are willing to market yourself the way you're going to market a property. And so, as Jade was saying, the first website package that we have is the website itself. Our second level package is about your Google presence. Then we also do lead gen, we do SEO. So you're not only the most correct answer to your own name, but you can see that if you search Beverly Hills real estate agent, Jade Mills is there organically at the top. But if you're showing up to a listing appointment and you're a brand new agent, but you have a really beautiful website online that shows a really strong brand that pulls in top listings using the MLS integration that we have on our sites, and then you're also going to show that you have property websites, which are included in any of our website packages, that when you go and you market a listing for someone, that you're going to build a beautiful website for them included. Like, these are really great ways for you to begin to compete and to make space for yourself in the market that you're in.
I love it. Laura, thank you so much. Laura's going to stick around a little bit. She'll drop her link in the chat if you want to book some time, talk about what Luxury Presence can do for folks here. But we have a couple of minutes, and I've got way more questions than we'll get a chance to answer. So I'd love to be able to answer a couple of questions from the Q&A, because the folks have questions and they demand answers. First question here, both for Fran and for Jade. Closing gifts. What are you folks doing for closing gifts, and how do closing gifts play in your client relationship interaction with people after the transaction is done? Fran, any initial thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the client, right? There are clients that have big wine cellars and buying big apartments that want the big thing. And that's usually when I'll send a curated case of wine from a really great, vintner, or it's an Hermes blanket for the lady of the house, or it's Cuban glass and it's etched with their names and it's sent to them. It's always a really beautifully, put it this way, the client that owns a very well-known, um, you know, uh, electronic company. I bought her the Hermes blanket. She said, even I didn't buy that for myself. So I think when you can do that, that they're going to remember it, and it means something, and it goes a long way because it's a way of saying I genuinely appreciate you.
How about you, Jade? What closing gifts are you using to carry that relationship forward?
I agree. It's different with every client, but I do think we've given the client a chef for 10 people, to have a dinner party. We've given wine, cases of wine. We've done the Hermes blankets, although now a lot of people do that. So we just found a different, like a snuggly blanket, Oprah's favorite blanket. We've given that to a few people, but I think it's different for every client. We have restaurants that become our favorite. We'll give, them and their children, or them and another couple, a dinner. But I think it is different. But I think you really have to know what your client is all about and what they would like, because the gift is something where we're saying, We really enjoyed working with you. Hope we can do it again and have them remember.
Mhm. Okay. Another question here. What about agents who are either excuse me, not just agents, team members? How do you keep your team running lean and strong? How often are you having conversations with agents or with support staff about their performance and about their contributions to the business? Seems like this is the sort of kind of business management that not a lot of agents or in the luxury space or otherwise uh, are best at. Does anybody have an approach on managing a team or managing their office to make sure that they're running at full capacity?
Uh, I would say I'm lousy at management. Normally, great sales agents are not necessarily the best managers. I would speak for myself only.
Mm.
And I would say I've learned after running a business for 18 and a half years that um, communication, same thing as a client. You have to be holding regular meetings. I want to hear what's going on. We work on a business plan each year and analyze where they are with their goals. We talk about what's not working. We talk about the conditions of the market. We talk about specific clients, deal flow. Most of the time, I believe in modeling it, not just do what I say, but I do. And I think that is very important for a very cohesive team. You have to be very clear. There's an operating agreement, so there's no ambiguity. And basically the team comes to me when they have a question. Now, sometimes they may think I'm overwhelmed and intimidating, but for the most part, my chief of operations is a good buffer because they go through him, or they'll come directly to me because I'm here, cranking away. And I think that's what you want. You want an open door policy for me anyway. And I want my agents to be happy because they're an extension of me. And the only way to grow a business is to delegate. At some level, I'm on it, but I also have to trust the ambassadors on behalf of this crew, and I do.
Mm. How about you, Jade? How are you keeping the people around you sharp and pulling their weight so that your organization can continue to grow?
Well, I don't have a team, but I do have my children who
Hmm.
work with me, which is a whole different challenge because they don't always listen and they know they're not going to get fired. So so it's a little bit different, but I think Stephanie, who is my right hand, and she has been there for 21 years, we communicate daily. And if there's ever anything that she's not happy about or I'm not happy about, we communicate right away because we have found that if we don't, it's not the best for business and it's not the best for our relationship. So if we have something that we need to talk about, we talk about it on a daily basis. Otherwise, I mean, after 21 years, things run pretty smoothly.
Lucky
So
you.
great to get to hear from you guys. We are now officially 3 minutes over. I want to take this time to thank Fran Katzen, Jade Mills, and Laura McDonald for joining us here at the Luxury Presence panel. It's been so wonderful to get insight on how to break into the luxury space. Folks, if you had questions that didn't get answered, please know we will do our best to continue to answer these questions across all the content Luxury Presence creates. Please watch your email. We'll send out a copy of this recording along with all the other goodies that we've talked about here today so that you can use it and refer back to it as you're building your business. Again, Fran, Jade, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for
Chris,
having me.
Guys,
you
it
were
was great.
wonderful.
Oh, it was great to be here
Yeah,
with
you work
everybody.
with.
If you have questions, please feel free to use the booking link. We'll drop it in the chat. I'll put it up. We'll keep the QR code up on the screen. Everybody have a fantastic Wednesday. We'll see you on the next
You too.
Luxury Presence panel.
Thanks so
Bye.
much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.